Hey, what's up? It's Jake from Nimbus Ops, and now we're going to go over passing arguments. Passing arguments. Okay, so now we're going to get a little bit more technical with this and talk about 4 different ways of passing arguments. So you have positional arguments, keyword arguments, iterable unpacking, and dictionary unpacking. So we'll go into them one by one. So if I call a function here, arguments, position. Actually, I'll just type this positional arguments. I'm going to define a function that takes arguments A, B, and C. Okay, and in there, I'm going to print A, B, and C. And then globally, I'm going to call function and pass the, well, it's going to print those parameters technically, but it's going to go function 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to pass 1, 2, 3. And as you may suspect, if I type Python pass pi, it's going to print out 1, 2, 3. This is the most common way of passing arguments to functions. In some programming languages, it's the only way to pass arguments. But this is what we refer to as positional, because 1 is the first position, and so it's going to be assigned to A, and so on and so forth. But there's also let's do positional, comma, ABC. So now we can see that. Okay, so there's also a way to do it with keyword arguments. Okay, and with keyword arguments, it's a little bit different. So we're going to define, let's say, func underscore key. I'll change it up a little bit. And we're going to pass A, B, C like we did before. And we're going to print A, B, C like we did before. And then I'm going to call func key, and I'm going to pass A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, like this. So, and we want to actually print keyword, comma, that, and see what the difference is. So it looks exactly the same, but you're going to see that I was specifically assigning the value of A, B, and C. And so it's a little bit easier to infer what the values are going to be because you're not making the assumption that these arguments are positional. They are defined by keyword, in this case, keyword A, keyword B, keyword C. So you don't need to remember the order of anything. In fact, you could print them out differently, and you would still get the same. You could do B equals 2, A equals 1, C equals 3, and get the same thing. You could mix them, and I could say A is 42, and positionally, it just knows that that's true. So this is like a mix of the two. And just keep in mind, I guess, that positional arguments always have to be listed before keyword arguments, because if I try to assume that C equals 42 like this, you see that there's a positional argument cannot appear after a keyword because I have a linter that does that. But if you did not and you're using this in a text file, you would get an error because it says positional argument follows keyword argument. And that just means that they need to go first. Okay, so let's move on to iterable unpacking. So iterable unpacking. Scroll a little bit. And in this one, let's define func iter and func underscore iter. And we'll say that this takes A, B, and C. And we're just going to print iterable, and then comma A, B, C, like this. Okay. But we're going to do something a little bit different. So I'm actually going to assign a variable values, the value 1, 3, and -7. And then I'm going to call my func iter But what I'm going to do is I'm going to type star values, which is the same thing as like func iter 1 3 -7 values. Oh yeah, that should probably be plural, huh? Values. Okay. And if we pass this, we can see that it does print them out. Now, why would you do that? Well, it's very useful when you need to programmatically generate arguments for a function. So if you're taking some input and then programmatically generating all these inputs, then you're able to unpack this variable values by passing star and then the name of the variable that contains the values that you want to unpack. So we can also unpack a dictionary. So I can do dictionary unpacking and something very similar. So we'll do define func dictionary and we'll just pass A, B, C. And in here, I'm going to print A, B, and C. And then I'm going to create a sequence, this object, and I'm going to say B is 1, so we're just creating key value pairs. C is 2, and A is 42. C is 2, A is 42, like this. And then I'm going to call the function dictionary, and I'm going to pass star star values. Okay. And this is the same thing as function in dictionary. B equals 1, C equals 2, A equals 42. Okay. And let me print out dictionary like this and see what that looks like. Oh, wait. Same thing as function. Argument after must be mapping, not tuple. What did I do? B equals 1, C is 2, A is 42, function dictionary values. Oh, because I didn't spell it correctly. There we go. Dictionary. So we can see here, I defined them out of order, but it was still able to print them in order because I told it to here. So that's how you would unpack a dictionary. Similar to how you do the iterable, but a little bit different. And then the last thing is just about combining them. So if I were to combine them, I could do something like define a function and have, we'll do comb for combined, and we're going to do A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. And in this function, I'm just going to print A, B, C, D, E, F. All right. And then I'm going to say function combine 1. All right. And then star 2, 3, F equals 6, and star 4, 5. And then I'm also going to do function combine and go star 1, 2, E equals 5, star 3 and 4, and F equals 6, and another function combine, and we'll do 1 star star, B is 2. Let's say that C is 1 and A is 42 or something like that. Anyways, you get the idea. But you can just combine all this stuff and it gets messy. Why would you type this? You would never do that. But you can pass objects. So if you're downloading something, you're scraping a website, you're querying an API, you're parsing text from a file, whatever, you can pass that as a value, whether it's a tuple or some sort of dictionary object or something like that, as an argument to a function, which will then parameterize it inside of your function. So anyways, that's a little bit more about that. And in the next section, we're going to go over a little bit more about defining parameters.